man. Oh, man. Cat's showing everybody his bald spots. All right, man. You got 5 seconds.
It's coming anyway.
All right, 5 seconds, man.
Welcome, Moon Griffon Show on the road again. This time back where it all started in Monroe, Louisiana. We're at Chris Simmons' Colonial Life. And, of course, we will be here until 11 o'clock. We're going to visit with Chris Simmons. Paul Hurd's going to stick in here with us for a few minutes and talk about the Constitutional Convention. It's funny, I just got off the phone with people. And always in conjunction with KMLB 540 AM. And, of course, they got an FM dial now. And it's 95. See, Paul knows, 105.7. I don't even know. But we've been broadcasting 25 years starting in August right here in the great area of Monroe. So it's my 25th year. We're going to try to come back and do some stuff back in the Monroe area and be, lot to be thankful in this area. People like Paul and Miller and people that contributed, advertisers everywhere, and it's been a blessing. So anyway, it's good to get back to what I call home. Even though this is not my home anymore, it's in Lafayette. By the way, I've been gone almost 4 years. Paul's going, huh? 4 years this June. I know it's amazing. All right, let's jump gears. Chris Simmons, Colonial Life, joins us. Chris Simmons at coloniallife.com. Chris, first of all, thanks for having me.
Man, I appreciate you coming in. We started here a few months ago, opened up this agency here. We tried to put in some structure and we kind of changed the way things were done around Northeast Louisiana with Colonial Life Agency. With a focus on really, more customer service than just new sales. We're trying to develop some long-term relationships with some people. And I think, a lot of the businesses that we deal with, once we go in there, they don't really realize what all we can do. It's not just to go in and try to provide insurance. We offer a lot of benefits, communication, and education that goes along with that.
One of the things y'all do, y'all get into businesses and you talk to the business owners, and you can do big companies, smaller companies,
That's
whatever.
Right. That's right.
But y'all go in and actually work with the employers.
We
do.
Employees.
Not the employers, more with the employees. Is that correct?
We do. We have certified benefits counselors that actually sit down one-on-one with each employee. Because, we can go into a company and it's easy for somebody to say, oh, my employees are not going to be interested or they don't need anything. Well, everybody's going to have different needs. You don't know what their family situation is or their financial situation is. So those certified benefits counselors can sit down one-on-one with each employee, and we don't outsource that. We have, Colonial Life has the largest enrollment company in the country. We're servicing almost $30 billion. And I'm sorry, $3.5 billion in premium in force, and that's all been enrolled through Colonial Life certified benefits counselors.
So businesses out there, let's talk about what type of insurance you offer in businesses, okay. and how does that work?
Everything, we don't offer major medical insurance like your Blue Cross Blue Shield or some of the other HMOs that we have around here. Everything we have is supplemental and it's designed to fill those gaps that your major medical insurance does not cover. Blue Cross Blue Shield or major medical insurance is great, but it's like a big block of Swiss cheese. It's got a lot of holes in it. So the things that we provide are going to help protect your income. They're going to help put money back in your pocket to help cover your out-of-pocket expenses on your health care. We also have benefits that cover catastrophic events such as cancer, heart attack, stroke, and then we offer some dental and vision plans and of course life insurance, which I'm very passionate about. You can never have enough of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Especially when if you get where you need it.
That's right. That's right.
Glad you got plenty. All right, now you're right, basically cover Northeast Louisiana, but I know sometimes you get an account here and an account there.
Sure.
So what type businesses ought to be looking at what you do?
Really, anybody with 3 employees and up. Our kind of bread and butter is really in between 10 and 50 employees. We can get in there and it's a really personal thing. We get to know the business owner. We get to know the company. Here at my agency, I try really hard to get my clients from having to call a 1-800 number. I like them to call me local and we take care of things. We'll drive out and help them. However, we got clients with, 1,000, 2,000 people as well. We can handle it all. So
yeah, you handle big and small. So
we do.
People want to get in touch with you. What's the best way? By the way, we're going to visit with Chris off and on for the next 2 hours.
Okay. The best way to get in touch with me is by email. It's chris.simmons, SIMMONS, at coloniallife.com, or you can call me at 318-342-6988.
And if you're a business out there and you're looking for somebody, you ought to give him a call. By the way, just because unlike Hannity, I'm going to be honest, I got a son, Daniel, that works with you. So out of honesty, I let them know. And by the way, I'm not doing this for free.
Daniel and I have been together for a long time. We're attached at the hip sometimes, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I just wanted to let them know that. So give them a call, 318-342-6988. And we're going to visit with Chris more as the program goes on. All right, Chris, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to swing Paul Hurd in here for a few minutes. And we'll visit with Chris probably at the end of this hour and, of course, in the second hour. Hey, man. Hey, young man. How you doing?
Man, I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad you gave me plenty of warning. I got a call.
5:30?
I wish it was that. That would be twice as much notice as I usually get. I think I got one at 7:30 that you were in town at 9.
Yeah,
and I'm glad to be here.
No, it's funny. Me and you're laughing about it.
We did this a long time.
I know, but my producer, my award-winning producer, would tell you that's common. Mm-hmm. All right. One of the reasons I wanted to grab you, and you don't have a whole lot of time, but we're going to do a segment, take a break.
No, I'm glad to be here, man.
Paul, big talk at the Constitution Convention. I got a call before you even walked here. I want to know where I stood on it. And the bottom line was, I start with my old buddy CB, our old buddy. He never wanted one. He helped write the other one. The Constitution has been amended 189 times, Paul. If you listen and read what the representatives say, well, we dedicated so much money, and I'm sitting here going, who dedicated the money? I didn't, did you? They dedicated the money. So they took a Constitution that was pretty good and really hurt it. But here's my question to you. Do you have questions about it? You're a lawyer. Do you have questions about the Constitution Convention? And what are some priorities maybe you think it ought to have if they have one? I don't want them to even have one. But I may not win this battle. So what are some things that you look at when they start talking about Constitutional Convention?
Look, what we do know is that they're not telling us what they do want to do. What we need to do if we're going to have a Constitutional Convention, and as far as I'm concerned, they're not entitled to a Constitutional Convention for this reason. We can do it in the legislature. What I'm going to ask any legislator is you give me the language. Don't tell me in principle. Don't give me bullet talking points. Give me 5 written amendments that we need. If we're going to change this state, give me 5 written down amendments.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
What would be wrong with amending the Constitution and not having a Constitutional Convention with the 5 amendments that you're going to bring up?
That's where I'm going. The real answer is you do it in the legislature. You put them on the table so that we know what it is that you want. And then the simple question is, if the legislature's not in favor of these, then we don't need a Constitutional Convention because the people are happy with it.
That's the smartest thing I've heard anybody say. And I hate to tell you that because now you're going to get a big head. You're going to want to take the program over. No, but seriously, when I say that,
Give me 5.
I'm being sincere. I've been saying don't do it. We can do most of what they need. Once again, I'll go back to my old buddy CB, that we can do most of what we need with the legislature now. And here you are saying the same thing. And matter of fact, you're better than CB was in this fact. You're saying give me 5, because 5 things ought to do it.
Well, I don't know that 5, but let me tell you, I can chop a lot of wood with 5 fixes. And what I'm saying is what's your best fix? If you're headed to a convention, what are you going to put on the table on the state's retirement fiasco? I wrote a book, The Constitutional Solution.
By the way, I would suggest people read it. It's very good.
Over 10 years ago.
Has it been that long?
Yes.
We're both aging.
It was over 10 years, but our unfunded accrued retirement liability,
which is big trouble,
has doubled since I wrote the book.
Over $21 billion now, headed to about $30 billion in the next 10 years.
It was $8 or $9 billion when I wrote the book.
21.
Well, the point is, the simple answer is this: 1 constitutional amendment. All employees that have been with the state and vested, that's 5 years. If you vested, your retirement's what it is. We've promised you that, that's fine. Anybody less than 5 years, we create a 401k plan.
Okay, let me jump gears with you just for time. That's 1. Let me throw 1 at you.
All right.
they keep crying about all the dedicated funds. They can, on one constitutional amendment, I don't know if they can do 100%, but they could get a big chunk of undedicating money. Do you agree or disagree, or is that too simple?
I don't necessarily disagree with the possibility. I am a dedicated fund supporter.
I know. And you know why?
And you know why?
They dedicated? Because they couldn't have passed them without dedicated.
Because the people will not give that government money except for X.
That's why it's like that.
And let me tell you why we still, as voters, want it. Think about your highway trust fund. It was dedicated for constructing our highways that we need. Did we say that we were going to pay the state police out of the trust fund? Did we say we were going to pay damage claims out of the trust fund? No. And yet that's what they do to us.
Okay. Then leads me to another one. Supplemental pay. You see all this dedicated money? When they get to a Constitutional Convention or they come up with the amendments, all these municipalities, they get supplemental pay, right or wrong, are going to be there to fight to keep their dedication. Number two is they're never going to undedicate at all.
And we're the roast that's going to get carved up if they get to go behind closed doors and come out. Another amendment that we need is if they the legislature, woe is me. Hey, be careful what you sign up for. And second, if you're just too tired to do it, go home. But what we need to do is, if you've got the amendment that you want to reallocate taxing authority and services between state government and local government, then put it on the table. That's one of the five.
Put it out front where everybody can do it. Paul Hurd, my special guest. All right, Paul, I said I was going to just share this with you, which is basically along the lines of what you've been saying. The extra lawmakers. So this Franklin fella, let's see, out of Baton Rouge, quote, it becomes very cumbersome with a lot of dedicated funding sources and other things that lock our hands. Well, Paul, I think the people spoke. If it came up as a constitutional amendment that locked their hands, they first came to us and said, please lock our hands because we're not going to do it right. And then the people voted for it to lock their hands. Now, they've used that as the number one problem with the Constitution and the budget.
Good. The answer is put it on the table. Number 3, put on the table those dedications that if you go to a constitutional convention, you're going to support retaining the tax. You're not going to give the people back their money. List the dedications you want to repeal and take our money without giving us the dedication. It's okay. Do it. Don't go behind smoke-filled rooms and try to cut a deal and come out and hide everything. Give me 5 amendments.
Out of everything you said, the smoke-filled rooms, John O'Leary, those guys would be involved in it. The guys that really ruined the state.
Well, look,
I'm being honest with you. Those guys that really hurt the state. Paul, just for time reference, the whole goal, and I want to get your thoughts on this, in me, and this is what CB used to preach, is to get rid of 2/3 vote on taxes and fees, term limits, and homestead exemption. That's what they want to get rid of. Now, this is lining up as big business and big government, which will squash the average person in a small business. So I'm asking, did that sound like what they want to get to, too? Because if they leave it open, these things will be affected. You can book it. They want to get the 2/3 fees and taxes off the books, majority vote. Homestead exemption is going to come into play as well.
Look, I see it a little more differently in this sense. I believe the business community needs a competitive environment. If you look at, but here's why they're not as competitive. If you look at the studies between the Southeast states, we, Louisiana, are the most expensive or the second most expensive state burdening our businesses. If you want to know, is our education doing well? Well, it's doing real well. Now, it's been beat on, but it's producing a good product for our children because our children are getting degrees and going to Dallas and Nashville. To go to work. What we will not accept is we have to set our businesses free. And that means shrinking government. Now, it means not messing with the homestead exemption. It means messing with Baton Rouge employment rate. And so the real answer is, let's find amendment number 4, business improvement. And that's what, put it on the table before you go home.
Yeah, if we don't improve, and I've been preaching it, you know that.
I know you have.
If we don't improve the business climate in this state, I don't care how many taxes they raise, we won't be able to produce enough. In other words,
it's too
we're
easy.
Producing right now in the last 10 to 14 years, our government is growing twice our economy. Paul, it doesn't work.
It
never has
work.
worked. And so what they think is, well, let me go get some more money from people.
Think about this. The Trump expansion. What we've got is we're one of the only states that has had job losses again during a nationwide expansion. Unemployment here has shrunk the Obama way. The reason unemployment has shrunk is because good workers left.
Well, our migration, and you had people quit looking for jobs.
No,
and that was
that's
Obama
exactly
equation.
it. The equation was, if you make it bad enough, they quit looking for a job, or they go to Mobile, Alabama. They go to Pensacola.
Well, I think we got to take a break. All right, Brandon, get us out of here.
Put your 5 on the table.
I like it. I love it. I need some more of it. All right, Paul.
He better be able to find that song.
Yes. Chris Simmons, Colonial Life is where we broadcast in conjunction with KMLB, my good friends at the radio people. I love those guys. Bob Holliday gave us the first opportunity. Thank you, Paul. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Anyway, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. 25 years in the great Monroe area where I was came to school up here, and I'm actually on the campus right now. It's the small business incubator type deal that's been around for a long time. And Chris Simmons, Colonial Life, that's who I have with me. His office is located here. This was a neat thing they put together a while back. He pays rent, he does all that, has access to some stuff, and which makes it good. But we want to thank once again Bob Holliday and KMLB. I can never thank Bob Holliday for what Bob did for me back at KMLB in Monroe. I can never go around and thank all the people that affected my life, from the school itself, meeting the people, from the church I used to go to just the general public. I mean, what an awesome place, and it's always great to come back. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the Moon Griffon Show. It's an opportunity to be a voice. A lot of stuff to cover. I appreciate Paul Hurd sitting here. Chris is back with me as well. So interesting. Chris is sitting over there going, man, I don't follow all this stuff that close. Well, it will affect you on the Constitutional Convention. And just all briefly, Chris, we were talking about something that will affect you, will affect all of us. You're a younger guy. You've been in business. I mean, you're trying to build your business, and y'all doing a great job here. But Paul came in and did a great job. He's basically a constitutional lawyer. He wrote a really good book. If people go back and read it 10 years ago, How to Really Fix the Problem. I thought he made a great point. Give us 5 things that you want to do and let us know up front. And you can really fix them without going behind closed doors. They could do this in front of everybody. That's not what they want, and that's what bothers us.
Absolutely. I mean, I heard you say it, and him too. It sounds to me like it's just, at least tell us what it is. Give us the details.
But how hard is that?
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard at all.
If you want to be honest, I mean, you got to work with businesses every day. Try not being honest with your customers and see where it gets.
I wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, but nobody would.
No.
Nobody would. And the only ones that seem to last that long is the elected officials. So anyway, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. You can tell I'm back in Monroe. All right, one real quick. I think you get a kick out of this. I picked this out yesterday. I told Brandon it's just a little chorus of a song, and I just wanted to play this because I think this is the song for the governor for next year for elections, from us to him. So I just wanted to play it real quick. It's a real quick chorus. Here we go.
What kind of fool do you think I am? I ain't falling for you all over again. I ain't playing a game that I know I can't win. What kind of fool do you think I am?
Woo! Oh, there it is.
That's amazing.
That's a new chorus, new theme song for the governor's reelection next year. I just thought I'd put it out there, folks, just for the fun of it. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Of course, Chris Simmons, Colonial Life. We're here with Chris, and he'll be in and out with us for the whole program. You dealing with your business in the small incubator. This has really helped small business. They've been doing this for a long time. They were doing this here when I left, I want to say. Now, maybe it started after, but it started a long time ago.
It's really a good thing, and it does help these small businesses trying to get a fresh start because it takes really, no matter what you're doing, probably a good 2 years to get established.
Absolutely,
minimum.
Yeah,
just hoping you break even. But you can come in at minimal cost. You can grow as you need to. All your utilities, your internet, everything's included in that price.
Yeah.
It's really a stress-free environment. Not to mention, for myself, it's a great recruiting ground for some of these young grads coming out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know it's been around, and I'm not saying other universities don't do it, but I know that they've been doing it up here a lot of times going on. Now, you cover the northeast Louisiana area. I always look at economies. I mean, how's that working out for you to cover the area? You deal with farmers and everything, I guess.
We do. We deal with a lot of low-income employees when we go into it, and a lot of times these people are, minimum wage or just a little better. And surprisingly so, these are some of our better clients because some of the things that we provide actually protects their income. And most things that we provide are less than an hour's wage a week for a $10 hour employee. So we have some benefits available for even those people that can't afford health insurance.
No doubt about it. But when y'all go see a business, do y'all get the business to buy, or do y'all get the business guy? And I want people to know that somebody's listening. Do y'all go talk to the owners of the business, and they decide you come in and talk to the employees? How does that work?
That's right. We meet. Our initial meeting is really to discover about them and find out how they're set up, what they're offering their employees, and then we try to put something together for them to offer their employees. This is absolutely no cost to the employer. Really what we're seeking from him is, one, build a relationship with him, and the opportunity to come in and speak to his employees on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah, and so it's very simple. Once that's approved, then they got 10, 15, 20, 50, whatever number.
Yeah, and look, I understand, efficiency is a huge thing for a business. Even though it doesn't cost them anything, it does take a little bit of time for this enrollment process. So we really work hard to try to make that as efficient as possible.
How long does it take you if you got, let's just say 30 people?
30 people.
What's the process of visiting with every one of them?
Really, we can sit down with each individual in about 15 minutes each. We try to schedule that out.
You're doing it in a day or two, depending on time and lunch and all that.
We do, and what we like to do is have a little 10-minute presentation the day before, a group presentation. We bring some information to the actual employees and give them an opportunity to take it home and look at it. We don't want them making a decision on the spot. They need to go home and talk to their spouse, see what their true needs are. That way, when they sit down with me or our benefits counselor, they have an idea of what they're looking for already. And it really does speed up that process. And it's less times of us going back in and interrupting that business.
Well, when you said it really doesn't affect the employer, it can't help them on the bottom line. It can't help them, or basically it doesn't affect them at all.
There are things that we can provide that can save them some money. There are things that we can provide to help reduce the cost of their major insurance, especially employers that provide that for their employees. There are some employers that pay the insurance premiums for their employers. There's things that we can do to go in and reduce those costs and put some money back in the employee's pocket as well. I got to
tell you, if employees can keep more of their money, they have a better quality of life, and that helps them tremendously.
Absolutely. And it's one thing we ask them when we sit down with them is, everybody insures their cars, their houses. Some people insure their dogs. Your number one asset is your ability to get up and earn a paycheck.
Absolutely.
So we want to provide an opportunity to protect that paycheck, that income. If they only have, 10 sick leave days and something catastrophic happens, they miss a month of work, or maternity leave, they miss out from maternity leave. If you have to take leave of absence, you still got to pay those major health insurance premiums. How are you going to do that with no income coming in? So we can provide things that helps put that money back in your pocket, a percentage of that income while you're out.
So people get in touch with you, you go to businesses. This is not for individuals.
That's correct.
It is for individuals through a company.
Through a company. We do it through the via payroll deduction. It allows us to give group rates on individual policies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you need numbers.
That's right.
But you said the average group that you deal with is what?
Our average group now is probably anywhere from 10 to 50 employees. We have a few very large clients. We do a lot of public sector, so we work with a lot of city governments, police departments, fire departments, things like that. School systems. We have a lot of school systems in place. Really, we're set up to be able to handle any of that. But our bread and butter, the ones this is probably a personal preference. I like those 10 to 50 man employees. It's just a personal experience.
Well, but you know what, though? There's a lot more than them. When you get
That's
the
right.
big one, everybody gets excited.
That's right.
There's a heck of a lot more 10 to 50s than there are 500s.
Absolutely.
And it's always been like that. In Louisiana, we really are, excuse me, a small business state. The only thing you read in the newspaper is about the big companies and the big breaks and the big this and the big that. But if you go around the area here, and I was here for 35 years,
That's it.
or you go in the area I'm in now, Lafayette, it's small business, guys.
It is.
Small business is where people make it, and I think what y'all doing, you're trying to help the small business guy help their employees.
That's right. That's absolutely right. You know, these things are going to help with retention of your employees. If you can make your benefit package more competitive, because, you know, talent is hard to find. And when you get it, you need to take care of it.
I know. I'm on my 8th or 9th producer. Talent is hard to find. Chris Simmons, Colonial Life. You can get him at chris.simmons@coloniallife.com. You know, I'm playing with fire when I say that. This guy's got the microphone and the button to cut me off. 318-342-6988. This is a theme song for Bell Edwards next year from us. I'm starting to worry about my producer more and more. And he's an award-winning producer. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. We are in Monroe, Louisiana, right off of, really in the ULM campus. We're visiting with Chris Simmons, Colonial Life. They sponsor the program today in conjunction, with KMLB, the radio people, right here in Monroe. That's where it all started for me. I went to school up here, stayed up here 35 years. The most of my life has been right here where I'm at right now in Monroe, Louisiana. And so it's always good to come home and get to see friendly people and good people. So enjoying myself as usual. All right. 844-766-6607. It's Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program, and we're going to continue to visit with Chris as well. I did want to I'm going to mention a few other subjects. If you look at the numbers, unemployment rate is down here, and the governor and them are bragging about it. But you realize they're high compared to other states around us. They're all in the 2 and 3 percentile. You know, they're really low, and ours is going down because of our migration and people quit looking for work, and that's frustrating to me. And Chris, I'll tell you this right now: if the government would allow the business community to really grow, to really go, if every business here, if you could hire one person this year, it's because you grew.
That's right.
And if I could hire one person, it's because I'm growing. And if everybody can do that, people getting out of school would go to work instantly right here in the state of Louisiana. You'll see your business pick up 100-fold. And it's one of the things that we work on a daily basis. We've got to make this a friendly business state. We're not focusing on being a friendly business state. So I looked at the unemployment numbers. They got all these unemployment numbers out for all these other states, and we're still one of the highest at 4.4%. And the reason for that is we have not expanded at all the business growth in this state. Actually, we've kind of lost jobs. I know what people are writing. I know what they're saying. But the fact of the matter is we're not growing like the rest of the states around us. There was a article today that we've signed a new deal in St. James for this $9.4 billion company. Okay. Now, you would think, well, Moon, okay, Griffon, why aren't you excited about that? Well, because they talked about it coming in 10 years. Now, I got to tell you, and Lanny Keller wrote, the governor brought in another business. It's 10 years. I don't even know if we'll be around in 10 years. And it reminded me of Jindal. They would say they're creating jobs in the next 6 to 8 years, the next 5 to 6 years. Name somebody that's looking for a job can prop their feet up and say, you know what? 10 years, I'll have a job. It doesn't work that way. But it doesn't work that way. And I think we need to go to, and Governor General was the worst at it. I think we need to go to, you cannot announce a job until the jobs are hiring people. You can't make these big announcements. So Lanny Keller, who's a sycophant for the governor, he writes this article on, man, look at this great job. And I did the work. 10 years. What business takes 10 years and I don't care, name it, to get up and running.
I can't even project my own business in 10 years.
No, what you're on is a this year,
That's right.
with the following year, and the following year, if you can do a 1 to 5 year plan.
That's right.
It's a plan. But when things change,
and they
you
will.
have to adjust. You got to adjust.
They will.
Hey, that's funny, Chris, you're a small business owner. I am too. My model is really getting ready to change. I'm working on a whole new model because what I'm doing has worked, but I can see some changes I have to make personally. Okay? So all businesses do that. But for them to announce that we having a new plant, by the way, we had one coming to St. James that didn't come. And I think this is more to do about re-election. Jindal did this. He would announce, giving a great example, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. You remember when they announced that we were putting a new car manufacturing plants in Monroe? And by the way, I got chewed out like a big dog by chamber people here. Because when they announced it, I said, how's that going to work? The company was waiting on about $350 million from the federal government. Now, remember, Obama had gotten office. It wasn't going to be a union plant. That was number one. Number two, they had to get state money. Number three, they had to get local money, so they raised the tax. And I said, this is not legit. Well, they cut the ribbons. Bobby Jindal, France Stump, they're cutting the ribbons on a plant that never came. And it was so frustrating to me to watch reality. So when you announce as a governor, we got something coming, and they was talking about up and running by 2015, 2014, 2013, it never came. They announced the Elio Motors in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I took a lot of heat for the one here. I said, it's never coming, y'all. Hey, that's being negative. I said, no, I'm being honest. And I gave them all the reasons. I'm not going back over that. Well, Elio Motors, same thing. They announced that. I said, oh, that ain't happening. I talked to people who are in the car manufacturing business. I talked to real people. And they said, no, that'll never happen. It never has come. They were talking about, and people in Shreveport have to help me, by 2015, by 2016, by 2017. What year are we in, Chris?
2018.
Well, guess what? It's not coming.
It's not coming.
And so when you announce a plant, Blanco, when Governor Blanco was leaving, she announced the car manufacturing plant was coming in the same building. I had to get on Greg Hilburn, who writes anything and everything. Hilburn had to do a retraction on that.
I think you said it exactly right a while ago. It's a re-election plan. That's exactly what it is.
But, I mean, think about it, Chris. Who's going to wait around 10 years for the plant to get up and go, well, you know what, I'll have a job in 10 years. It's bogus. Now, if the plant comes in 10 years, fine. There's nothing I can think of, with the exception of building a bridge across the Mississippi River, that would take 10 years.
That's right.
I can't think of anything that would take 10 years. Now, I'm not saying they're not, but some kind of plant's going to take 10 years for 1,200 jobs?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but this is what's put out there. I just don't like false hope. I'm all about hope, but not about false hope. And that's all I'm saying. A business like yours can thrive if the economy is that we let it go, we lower taxes, and let it roll. I promise you to thrive in Louisiana because we got good people and good workers, and you know that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big believer in, the small businesses are the foundation, especially of communities like Monroe, Louisiana. It is such a community-driven place.
But they all are.
And you see new businesses not make it every day around here.
But that's happening all over the
is.
place. It's hard. I've been in business. I failed in business before. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm not proud of it, but I failed. In my business of 25 years, I got very good times and times that are tough, even after 25 years. So you're going to find that too. You think, boy, we made it. And there's some people they really make it. Good for them. But the problem is, you just said something earlier. You got a plan. Your plan is a 2 to 5 year plan to get off and running.
That's right.
There's a lot of stress that goes with the 2 to 5 year plan.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
But I just don't want them to announce something. They announced all this. We had chicken plucking plants coming in Rayville, never came. We've had 2 manufacturing plants that were supposed to come in this GM plant, never came. They announced this in Shreveport. We announced St. James had this big iron plant coming. They decided they're not coming. So now we're going to announce under Edwards' watch, hey, we got this thing coming. Man, let me tell you something. Until that thing is built,
that's right,
10 years before they hire a job. I just wish they wouldn't give people false hope.
Right. I agree with you.
I mean, you deal with small businesses every day, and go sit down with them. I wish government would really sit down with these small business people and ask them, what do we need to do? What do we need to do where y'all, not to give you anything, but to get out of your way?
That's a part of our everyday job is sitting down with business owners. And we hear that common theme, taxes and rising cost of healthcare is killing everybody. It really is.
Those are the two things.
That's the two things that are killing small businesses around here.
There's no doubt about it. And you in it.
Absolutely.
Healthcare and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Chris Simmons, of course, folks, Colonial Life. We'll be here until 10 o'clock. And we want to thank once again them and KMLB for sponsoring it today. We'll take a break. Be right back. More to come. Don't go nowhere, folks. Oh, welcome to the Griffon Show on the road again. And, of course, we are in beautiful Monroe, Louisiana, where we all started our radio program 25 years ago this August. And just once again could not be thankful enough for Bob Holliday and all the people I work with, Peggy Sullivan, who's a young lady who actually walked into a food business that I was working in, and I said, what does it cost to be on the air? She said, are you interested? I said, oh, no, curious. Be careful being curious. Sometimes curious can get you in trouble, man. And anyway, it's been 25 years this August, and I'm just thankful for Peggy and for Bob Holliday, and I had other producers, too, and I had salespeople and everybody that I work with, and not to mention the great businesses that always advertise with us locally that did real well with us, and we're thankful for all those people as well. And, of course, as we branched out, all the great stations that we're on now, some of these stations I've been on as much as 19 years. I know Lafayette, Lake Charles, I know we're 17, 18 years in Ellick and Shreveport. We're moving up on those as well, not to mention Natchez and Slidell and our friends out in Leesville and those areas as well, and all the markets that we're on. We're humbled to have been there, I promise you. Anyway, we are here. We're here with Chris Simmons, Colonial Life, 318-342-6988. Give him a call. Let him come see your employees. And once again, and we were laughing off the ass, and I know, Chris, sometimes it's hard to get into companies. Got to be, because you say, hey, I'm with Chris Simmons, Colonial Life, and they go, insurance, we're not interested. But this is different than the basic insurance they've been buying. And so I want people to know that. They ought to give you a shot, because if it's about a quality of life for employees, and employers want to keep good employees, they really ought to, every business ought to let you all.
That's right. And like I said, I walk in and say, hey, anybody want some insurance? Everybody's going to say no. Everybody's insurance poor.
I know, but that's not exactly what y'all doing.
No.
And that's why employers, if they'll sit down and talk to y'all, they'll see that and they'll see the benefit.
That's right. And like I said, our first meeting with an employer is really quick, and it's just to help them understand, hey, these are things that you can offer employees. One, to offer a competitive package at no cost to you, and two is the policies that we provide. They really do help people. Our cancer insurance or heart attack, stroke coverage, and things like that. Those are things that change people's lives. Most bankruptcies in the United States are due to unpaid health care, and about 70% of those had major health insurance. These things help cover those out of pockets that you can't. Most people can't come up with $6,000 at a time to pay a deductible if something catastrophic happens.
You want to give me $6,000 now? I'll take it. All right, I do need to mention something else, Chris, before we move on. Grow Louisiana Coalition, y'all heard me talk about this the past few days. It's all natural gas industry day this Tuesday, which is today. It is at the A.Z. Young Park on the state capitol grounds in Baton Rouge. It's a free luncheon. You can register on site today. There's free parking at the Hollywood Casino of Baton Rouge. If you want to find out a little bit more info, you can go to info.growlouisianacoalition.com. But if you want to go, it's happening today at noon. They'll feed you and everything. They'll have some great speakers. But the name of it is growlouisianacoalition.com, and you can register, check everything out. And if you're headed that way and you're not sure, you're just going out there to check it out, you can just let your partner next to you on the phone. I wouldn't suggest getting on the internet while you're driving, but let somebody look it up. You can register, and then when you get there, you're already set to eat and everything. And so this is going to be happening at noon today in Baton Rouge. So it's at the A.Z. Young Park on the state capitol grounds in Baton Rouge. I wanted to make sure we mention this a couple of times to let people know if you're going, it's not too late. You still can go over there and get an opportunity for a great time. So if you want to go, it's not too late. It's at noon today. So even if you get there a little late, they're going to be speakers, and I'm sure they're going to be there for an hour or so to get things going. So anyway, 6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. I don't know if y'all heard the story. I'm telling y'all, what's going on in the legislature this year and next year, because we got elections on 2019. This time next year, we're going to be talking about the governor's race and all the races that are taking place. Let me tell you what the legislature is doing right now. They're building their portfolio to get beat, or they're building their portfolio to win. And so, in other words, the expansion of gambling. Okay? The expansion of gambling, we're going to have a lot of votes on that. So, people that say, hey, I'm not for expansion, these elected officials got to be careful with that vote. If they for the expansion, still got to be careful for the vote if they vote against it. Taxes, fees. I know the tax vote's not there, but they're going to have a special session. So what's happening with these elected officials, you notice they hadn't really advanced any major gambling bills. They hadn't advanced, the gambling was the big thing. They hadn't advanced the Constitutional Convention deal either. The reason I think they hadn't advanced them yet is a lot of deal making going on. But number two is these elected officials know, especially Republicans, they know they have to run against somebody. And if they have to run against somebody, how they vote is who they are, not who you say you are. You can't say, hey, I'm for less taxes and less government. You got 14 tax votes. You can't say, man, I've been fighting against the gambling and fighting against the growth of gambling. You vote for gambling. So what's taking place right now is these elected officials are writing out their resume for reelection. And if you are, I don't care what side you stand on, if you approach your elected officials and tell them I'm for this, against this, whatever, that elected official has to remember elections are next year. Now, there's a lot of people term limited. They won't have to run again unless, of course, Francis Thompson and John Alario, you run. If you term limit, you just go in the House. If you term limit, you go back to the Senate. Senate, House, House, Senate. They don't care. But they're writing their resume for next year's election. And there are people watching how these people vote. And if they don't vote properly for your area, then they're going to have to pay a price when next year's election comes around. Because I'm telling y'all what they're scared of. They're scared of a voting record being put out there against them. That's what they're scared of. That's what they fear. They fear their voting record is hurting them. Let me tell you something. People can vote with somebody that lies. They would rather vote for a liar or somebody who tells the truth. I tell you who they hate voting for. They love voting against a hypocrite. It's amazing, but that guy lied, but he was honest. He was an honest liar. But I'm telling you, and Chris, you may not believe this, people look at a hypocrite differently than they look at somebody that's blunt, or even somebody said, you know what, I told a lie. I said that, but I changed my mind. But if you're a hypocrite and you're bragging about what you did and you did the opposite, that's when people will pound on you. So these elected officials in the House and Senate, you have to trust me. Hup, we're getting ready to change. We're getting ready to change all this now. We're talking sports, but they hate a hypocrite. They hate one in a second. So anyway, tell you what we're gonna do, Brandon. We're gonna take an early break. I'm jumping gears. All this politics thrown out the window. Coach Keith Richard's in the house, and I ain't seen him in a while. So we're gonna have Coach Richard on. Of course, Chris is gonna hang around as well. Talk a little sports. Talk a little fun. Have a little bit of fun. All right. Chris Simmons, Colonial Life. Here's the number, 318-342-6988. You need to give him a call. All right, we'll be right back. I didn't think you with us, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. One of my favorite all-time coaches and a guy I played with. I didn't like when I played against him, but hell, I wouldn't be on his team. Coach Keith Richard is in the house at ULM. Of course, like I said, we're broadcasting on the campus. Chris Simmons, of course, Colonial Life, and we'll be here today on the program. And I Keith, you got the invitation like everybody else comes on my program. I call you about 5 minutes before I need you.
You did.
Great to see you, man.
It's great to see you.
By the way, you got to make the comment that you made earlier dealing with Maddie.
Oh, I'm going to tell you.
Because Maddie got to go to prom.
Well, I'm going to tell you, my wife, Holly, a couple nights ago, said, Keith, I got to show you something. And she showed me some pictures on Facebook, and it was of your daughter, Maddie,
at prom, and I teared up almost. I swear, she looked so beautiful, and
she did. She really did.
You know, she's growing up, and you could tell, and it was a neat moment. And I was so happy for her, and you please pass that along to her. I saw the pictures, and she looked great, and it was great to see her.
Well, one thing Coach did for me is people don't know this, but Keith used to allow Maddie to work the ball games. This was years ago now, Coach. Yeah. We got to go a little ways back. Some of the games, not all of them, but some of the games, you'd let her go in there and give water to the kids. So Keith got to know Maddie a little bit, even though he was into the game. And we appreciate that. You did that. Coach Cavallero did that. Of course, he's at Denham Springs, and I did see Coach play this year. And so the bond is there with Maddie, because when she comes around everybody else, and she got a lot of friends here, but if Coach Richard is in the house, hey, she's going to knock your head off with a high five. So Coach
loyal supporter now.
Coach has got a special fan, Maddie, for Coach Richard, and not to mention the Warhawks program. But so Coach did me a favor. I took a little video of him talking to Maddie, so I'm sending that to my bride, and she's going to show that to Maddie. And I'm telling you, I'm going to film her looking at it, so I can show you the smile that she's going to have.
That's great.
Anyway, it's great to see you again, Coach. I know, talking a little basketball with you, I know you had a year that you felt like some things turned around for you. You have this program heading in the right direction. I know you had a year or two that you wasn't as happy with, but this year you competed a lot.
Well, it was really 1 year. That last year we were down. We had 2 really good years.
Correct.
Lost all those players. Lost them all. And many of them are still playing overseas. And that group was a special group now. And so we lost them all. We brought a new crew in.
Took a little while.
Last year took our lumps. Competed, hard. A lot of close games. Lost a lot of close games. But the inexperience showed. And just not quite as talented as we were, and so, this coming into this year, we felt like we were more experienced. A lot of those guys were back, added a little bit to them, and, really thought that, we could have a better year. Didn't think, Moon, really from even the beginning, that I knew we weren't as talented as we hadn't got quite back up to talent-wise as we were those previous 2 years. But I did think that before the season started that this could be a team that winning-wise could be better than the year before. And so we get into the season, and we knew we had to play maybe a little bit differently, maybe shoot a lot of threes this year, that type thing with the players that we had. And so we go through the non-conference schedule, and we're trying a lot of guys, 9, 10 guys, and just doing our normal, trying to, figure it all out.
Everybody would love to play 10. Everybody would love that.
And just trying to figure it out, and had some good games and some not so games, just kind of going back and forth. And then we get into conference play, and we have a tough start to the conference play in terms of the schedule. We were the only team in the league that in the first 7 games had only 2 at home. That was tough now, and so your margin for error there is 0. And sure enough, we lost one of those home games, just of the 2 we had. And we actually, it was against Appalachian State. We beat Coastal Carolina on Thursday night, got our first conference win, and then we got we led the entire game, and right at the end, they caught us and clipped us. And so, we go a few more, games down the road in that 7, and we look up, and we're 1-6. And our team is we've lost a little confidence. We're shook a little bit, and no question any team would be. And look, got good kids. They're into it, and it's just kind of it was a tough moment. And so, we came back home after that 1-6 start, and we made a few changes, and I think those changes, along with some elevated play by some of our main players, we really turned it.
Yeah, but Coach, you mentioned something earlier too. You played a lot of players early.
Oh, no question.
And you basically, and I've watched you coach for many years, you've always tried to play a lot of players early. And the reason for that is you want to see who's ready for that.
Who's ready to help us
win.
And
you find out a kid that you thought was ready. Maybe not there. You find out a kid you didn't know. Hey, look at this kid.
Right, yeah.
That's pretty much how you've coached.
Yeah,
you would love to have 9 or 10 every year. I know you would.
Well, and I have had some teams that have played, 10, 11 guys. And But that's kind of the way I do it. And it's the way a lot of coaches do it in terms of, you kind of take the non-conference and you try to figure out who, what, when, and where. And, so anyway, we get to that 1-6 point. We coming home. We make a few changes. We tighten the noose a little bit. We we tweaked our offense just a little bit, Moon. We did. We win a big home game at home against Troy on a Thursday night. It was the first one. We're down 12 at half. We went to a 5-guard lineup, started at the second half, and just exploded in that second half and beat them. And that kind of spurred us on. And, we had some tremendous wins. We went at Georgia Southern, hard to do. We went at Georgia State, who ended up being the NCAA tournament representative, on back-to-back Thursday, Saturday. Tremendous wins. Make a long story short, we ended up winning 8 out of our next 11. We went 8-3. And we had a chance in the last home game of the year to finish third in the league. I mean, that was the kind of run that we went on. We lost that home game, ended up finishing tied for 5th. We were picked last in the preseason.
They had a bunch of people 3-6.
Yes, they did.
And the win and the loss here, and all of a sudden
had we won that last home, and we had it at home. It was set up beautiful. I mean, we're set up beautiful. And had we won that last home game, we'd have finished tied for third, and would have got the 3rd seed in the tournament.
Which, by the way, made a difference. I think the top four's got by.
Yeah, the top 4 do get a first round bye.
But like they say, that don't hurt nothing.
No. So, but and then we went in the conference tournament. Won a game and then lost to Georgia Southern in the quarterfinals, and then ended up getting a CIT postseason bid and went out and we lost that game. But we ended up 16-16 overall. We ended up 9-9 in the league. We ended up in a top half finish in the league. 3 out of our last 4 years we finished in the top half. 3 out of our last 4 years we have gone to some kind of postseason play. Albeit it's not the NCAA, but some kind of, it's a bowl game.
I know that's
game.
The ultimate goal is to get back there. And that conference basketball-wise, I visit with Jay Walker a lot with the UL because I'm down in Lafayette. And basketball-wise, that thing was, you didn't know some nights if you were going to beat some teams. And if you recall, and my Cajun fans are going to get mad at me, but one of the low-seed teams went into Lafayette and won. Yeah. And we'd have never expected that. And that's what I meant. And Jay told me, at the time, he said, man, the conference from top to bottom, you can get beat any night. Yeah. I don't think the conference has always been like that, but it was last year. Coach Keith Richard is my special guest, and we're talking about trying to find out. Coach, how long you been coaching now? College basketball.
33 years.
And he's never told me he's found a better shooter than me. I'm not saying you didn't, Coach, but you never said that.
Well,
I didn't say you found a quicker shooter.
I might have to tell you now. Sam McDaniel for us this past year.
You can fill it up, huh?
As a senior, was, I think, in the top 5 in the league in three-point shooting percentage. And, one thing I realized about this three-point shooting after this year, we ended up making more threes than any time in the history of the program this year. And it sure is fun coaching when you make a lot of threes. I'll tell you that.
You know what? So, I'm glad you brought that up because basically what you're telling me is I came along.
No question. You were 25 years too early. 30 years, whatever.
Actually, what's funny? I don't know if you'll go back and find out when the three-point line came along, but I know it was not too long after. I mean, you were a year ahead of me.
It was in the 80s, wasn't it? 86, 87.
You graduated 82.
82. So
83. Yeah, it was about 3 to 5 years, and then boom, it was there. Yeah. And besides, you remember at first, tell me if I'm wrong, it was the top of the key.
It was.
It was 19.9. Yeah. What is it now? 21.9?
Yeah.
It's 2 more feet.
It's 2 more, two more
feet.
inches. No, not feet. It's not that far back.
You sure? 19.9 to 21.9.
Yeah, maybe it is.
It is, Coach.
Yeah.
It's at least 2 feet.
Maybe it is.
That wouldn't have bothered me none.
No, you did have a stroke. Now, it'd take you 30 minutes to change into the floor.
Well, I didn't want to go there anyway.
You did.
That's what you didn't understand. I didn't want to go play defense. I wanted to shoot it.
You brought a new meaning to leak out,
But when you have bad knees, you can only shoot.
That's true.
So anyway, Coach Keith Richard, of course, the head basketball coach at ULM. We're talking a little bit about the program. All right, Coach, I think this is important for people that follow you. What's coming in? What's coming back? What's coming in? Because it's all about the season's over. It's all about next year.
And Boy, we think that, next year is really bright for us, Moon. And, I'm usually guarded at times from year to year talking about the next year's team in terms of what I think. But there is, from time to time, when I think we're going to have a good team, I go ahead and say it. I think we're going to have a good team. And this is one of those years. I think we're going to have a good team next year. And I say that for some reasons. First of all, we've got Travis Munnings coming back as a senior. He was second team all-conference this year. He's been in our program. He'll be going into his fourth year, a 4-year player. Has played a lot of basketball for us. Has been through some good teams and then a tough year. He's been through it all. Very, very experienced. Just, made the 1,000-point club last year. He's a good player.
He's a pretty tough kid.
He's a good player. He's a good player, and he's gotten better every year. Looking forward to his senior year. Michael Erdl, freshman for us this past year. Freshman of the year in the league. Freshman of the year in the league. We've never had that in the Sun Belt Conference. Freshman of the year. We have not. And so, had a great freshman year. And so he's returning and, really like what's going on there. And then, we got a few other returners that should be more experienced for. And then we have
logged some pretty good minutes.
Yeah, pretty good minutes. And then we have some new guys that are going to be with us next year. The first one is I had a player sitting out, a transfer from Wichita State. He's a guard named Deshaun Smith. Practiced with us every day. We had recruited him out of junior college, lost him to Wichita State in the end. And then he played for Wichita State last year, played in every game, started about half the games, decided to come back to us. Sat out last year, practiced with us. And Moon, many days in practice, he was the best player on the floor. Wow. And we got him for 1 year, but he's going to be a good player. That mark my words on that. He's going to be a good player. Not only on our team, but within the league, I believe. And then what we think was a very good recruiting class. Signed a wing early out of Tallahassee Junior College who came from UAB. Signed 5 guys late, a couple of 6'8" guys, a high school kid out of Illinois, a grad transfer out of Oral Roberts, another wing player. We got longer. We talked about that in the timeout there.
I knew a few years ago when you had a great team.
We were really long. Look.
You could take 2 kids and cross the whole, a day, half a court.
We were ridiculously long that year. And then we went to where we weren't long at all, really, in the last 2 years. Now we're kind of in between last year and that team. We've gotten longer again. And gotten more athletic. And at the same time, got, some of these players that I already mentioned to you that are coming back. So I'm very, very excited about the season next year. And it's like, I told somebody, how good you going to be? And I said, well, you never know when you get into the season, but I tell you what, when we walk in the gym, the other team's got to bend their knees next year. Yeah. They're going to have to get ready. We're going to have a nice team. I believe that.
Right. And it's got to gel because, like you said, you got 6 new ones coming with.
You got
to call the guys coming back veterans in the fact they played a year.
Got to mesh it all together and, and all this and that.
But, it would be sweet for you to be able to play 8 to 10 kids and really play them.
Yeah.
Because what it does, it rests kids.
For sure.
And the other kids are getting experience.
Sure.
But like you said earlier, that's every coach's dream. Everybody thinks they have that, and you get down to it. Injuries play a part in it. You got to stay injury free to really have the type basketball team you want. I can tell the excitement in your eyes. And by the way, you never mince words. Unlike me, I'm kind of quiet.
Yeah, you've always been quiet.
No, but I tell you what, I'd rather talk to a coach that felt good about their team than a coach that would come, well, we hope, we think, maybe. I'd rather you come on and say, we believe we have a good team.
Well,
things got to happen for you, coach, but they got to happen for all the teams.
Sure. And, and then there is some years, to be honest with you, where, boy, if we could just be competitive, and that's like, but this year, again, I just got a special feeling right now about this team. I think, and a lot of that's, again, because of Travis and Mike Erdl coming back, but having Deshaun in-house this year, practicing with our team, that was big for me, because he's not unknown. I watched him, in practice. I coached him. Every day I coached him. So, really excited about that.
One of the things I think people need to understand, Coach, you can have a mediocre year, but sometimes there's a natural rear end difference between okay year and a great year.
A what? A what rear end?
A natural rear end. And I'm being nice. And the reason why I say that is you can look at a team, you probably can go back in the future and say, you know what? We lost 8 games by less than 3.
Yeah.
On the flip side, you come back and say, we won 8 or 9 games by 1, 2, 3 points. That's what I mean, the difference between a mediocre and really having a good year. It's finding ways to win that game. I think when you went to Georgia, tell me if I'm wrong, both those wins on the road, weren't they both overtime games? Or
They're
right?
They're both overtime.
I think I don't follow you. Both overtime games. And what I'm saying is that makes a difference in your season. If you lose those 2 games, your season's not the same.
A referee's call, a loose ball,
Absolutely.
a foul here or there, a missed assignment.
But that's what I mean by having a really good team next year.
Yeah.
Is if you can find a way to win a lot of the close games.
Well, even the team we had 2 and 3 years ago, we won a bunch of close games. The team won 24 games and went to the finals of the CBI. We laugh all the time. There were 10 games in that 24 wins, 1 or 2 points.
But you see, I was just guessing on that.
And it's true.
Because I've been around it and watched it enough to go, even if you watch the NFL or NBA, they close games.
Last year we win 2 league games. We had 8 games inside 3 or 4 points, and so it's so true. And so we'll have to see how that goes next year. With those type things. But in terms of what we got coming back, Moon, and what we're bringing in, I'm so excited about next year.
By the way, the most exciting thing about Coach Richard is he found out I didn't have any more years left. I was going to ask you for an opportunity, but he let me know when I got here. Coach, always
good to see you.
God bless you, man. I
tell your family I said hello.
I will. I know you saw Maddie.
Oh,
and now you saw me, so you ought to be sad. No, actually, Coach Richard, before I left, he cried in front of me. You know why? I know he did. His wife has a business, and my wife was a big customer.
You're right about that.
He might have lost a little business.
We took a hit. Now, we took a hit. Your wife was talking about loyal now.
I know. My pocketbook is feeling a lot better. All right, Keith Reach, we'll take a break.
See you,
Chris Simmons, Colonial Life. We'll come right back and wrap it up with Chris. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Back on the road, actually, back where it all started for me in Monroe, Louisiana. Actually, Peggy Sullivan came by. Our old next-door neighbor, the Gandys, Arlene came by. And I said, my old neighbor. I wasn't calling you old. It's your husband that's old. Not you. You look young. You look young. You look great. I ain't seen him, but even if I see him, I'm not going to say he look great. So it doesn't even matter. Anyway, Peggy Sullivan's a young lady that got me in the radio business. I don't know if she wanted me to tell people that, but I did. She may run away from that before it's over. Anyway, we are here in conjunction with KMLB, of course, radio people, and Bob Holliday and the gang, and I do appreciate them. They're the ones that got us started. We had Chris Simmons, Colonial Life, and, of course, we're going to visit with Chris again before we wrap up. And it's chris.simmons@coloniallife.com. Let's see, on Facebook, it's Chris Simmons Colonial Life Agency at CS Colonial Life. I guess I'm saying that right.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're pretty good first time.
I messed up Bob and Bill before, so it wouldn't surprise me if I messed that up. And I do want to thank Coach Richard. Brandon, I know you're shocked, but I actually texted him about 10 minutes before he showed up. So I know Brandon's probably shocked about that.
I'm not shocked at all, Moon. It's par for the course.
I'm telling you, man. When we want guests, we want them now. What's that commercial? What's that commercial that we want it now?
Oh, the lawyer commercial, yeah.
That a lawyer commercial. Never mind. Never mind, we're throwing that out. Anyway, I don't like lawyers except when I need one. And by the way, Paul Hurd was a lawyer.
That's right.
Actually, when I make that comment, that's not true. Some of my best friends are lawyers, and thank God I knew them because they got me out of trouble.
That's right.
Anyway, Chris, appreciate you putting up with us, man. It was good to see Coach Richard, and I hadn't had a chance to really visit with him. So my visitation with him was on the air. So anyway, that's how we did it. All right, Chris, we're going to go back to what you do. And, hey, what and I said this earlier, what type people or businesses do you look for? Do you work with any kind of business? Is there some businesses you don't work with, or is there every field open to you?
You know, we typically, if I had to exclude anybody, it's going to be like restaurants, things like that, where there's going to be a lot of turnover. We're looking at companies to work with that really want to retain employees, companies that are going to grow, and provide a long-term option for those people that's working there. You know, we're talking about the small businesses struggling here in Monroe, Louisiana, and
That's
I
not
think,
just here. There's a struggle around the state.
You know, we deal with it here like they do everywhere, but I feel like these benefit packages that we can offer is a foundation that some other companies aren't offering anything. We walk into a lot of companies that are not offering anything.
Well, now, if you walk in a company like that and they got 30 or 40 employees, are those businesses more open to say, you know what, come in? Because, like you said, the employer's not really paying anything.
Right. A lot of times that's the case because we can provide something for them, some options for them. A lot of times a company
and you
can
do
afford
it and the reason you can do it, you do it as a group.
That's right. That's exactly right. We can provide group rates for them, even though they're technically individual policies and it's payroll deducted out of their premiums. So it's not costing the business anything. They're able to provide some great benefits for their employees. And then, another big piece of what we do, Moon, is education and communication. A lot of people have insurance, don't know how to use it. We walk into a lot of groups that had benefits before, and we have a capability of putting their products into our system, and we can explain what their benefits are, even if they don't change to us. We can explain what they have, how to go through a claims process with that, because a lot of times people have claims that they could have filed that they did not, so they're just losing money, and they're paying those premiums in.
Well, I got news for you. I'm going to make a statement. I bet you'll find this to be true. Most people, I'm in the boat too, you buy insurance, you sit down with an insurance person, and they go over everything. But until you use it,
that's it.
You kind of don't know. And so you call your insurance guy back up and say, look, I got this. What I do, help me here. And they're good about helping you.
Right.
But you got to call them and figure it out. Is that?
You're 100%.
And they'll probably call you too. I'm not excluding you.
Not to mention, if you do not deal with insurance on a day-to-day basis, it's a lot of information we're throwing at somebody when we sit down with them, because we're going over multiple policy options. It really is overwhelming a bit of information that most people just don't understand at all. And honestly, 5 days after we enroll, they might not remember what they even got.
So he's talking about me.
It's just true. But and that's where we try to come in and put a structure in place here to really provide that customer service. I'm lucky to have my mother here working for me, and she kind of handles my claims in my service department over here. She went through breast cancer a couple years ago and is a survivor of that. So, some of these policies that we provide are pretty near and dear to me. Our cancer coverage is second to none, in my opinion. And just to give you guys an example, she had Blue Cross Blue Shield, and even after that paid for everything, you were still out of pocket probably, about $15,000, something like that. Yeah. So, most people just can't come up with that. So,
I would think that's
it's tough.
It's tough. Just to go grab $15,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. So that's why I asked the question. So you got people in here that maybe companies that they might have good, steady employees, but they can't offer benefits, but they can through this.
That's right.
And the fact that it's a group deal. So if you're doing a group deal, they're going to get a better discount and things of that nature, and they can afford it.
That's exactly right.
So that's now you're not looking for people that don't offer benefits. You still work with people that do offer benefits.
Absolutely.
And this is kind of goes with maybe what they already do.
We can actually go into companies that have other supplemental products, and we can put ours alongside theirs, or let them compare.
Some you've replaced.
Some we've replaced. We don't approach a business saying, hey, we want to take over everything. We honestly want to go in there and let the employee compare and let the employee choose what's best for them. Because if I go in somewhere and we're trying to put products in place that I want them to have, I'm not going to pretend to know their needs. It really is they have to look at what they're at risk for, what their family needs are, what their financial situation is, and let them make that decision. And that's all we're asking of business owners, to let us come in and talk to their employees and let them decide what they want.
No, you're not. You just think once you can make a comparison or add to what they already have.
Correct.
It's kind of a combination of, or offering it to somebody whose business just can't provide that. I don't think people. I wish everybody had to run a business for 2 years. No. It would change. It would change the way employees looked at employers.
That's right.
Not every time, but in a lot of areas they would, of things you have to go through, decisions you have to make. That's supposed to be best for the company, which is really best for them.
That's right.
Sometimes you don't see that because you hadn't worked behind the managing or the ownership type.
I make a little joke with Daniel sometimes. We've worked for larger corporations, and it's like, why don't we get off for this day, this holiday? Why don't we? And now it's like, why do I have to close for this? Why do I have to close for that? It's just a small part of it, but when you realize what all goes into it and the sacrifices that people make in these small businesses.
Real quick, talk about, in a couple minutes I got left, talk about what do you think the best benefits you have for employers or employees that work for people? What are some great options that you think, hey, we're doing some things maybe you're not getting?
Well, one is a short-term disability, which is designed to protect your income. If you're sick or injured and out of work for an extended period of time, Like I said, if you have to take a leave of absence, you've used up all your sick days. Most companies don't provide very many. You've used all those up. You have to take a leave of absence. Well, you're not getting paid, but you're still having to pay your major insurance premiums. So you may or may not be having to dip into your savings. And this provides a percentage of their income while they're injured or sick and cannot work for an extended period of time. What you have to ask yourself is, how long can you go without a paycheck? Most people can't go more than a couple weeks at the most. And then I'm a big fan of our catastrophic illness policies. We have a great cancer policy. That thing, the first thing it does upon diagnosis is it gives you a check for $10,000. That eats up a large chunk of that out-of-pocket expense. It's also going to help with your chemo and radiation and all those treatments that goes into that. Given the fact in the same year, my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer. My dad had a heart attack. It was a tough time, if they would have had those things in place, tremendously. It really would.
Tell people how to get in touch with you.
Chris.Simmons@coloniallife.com, 318-342-6988. Call or email anytime. Thank you, man.
Chris, God bless, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, folks, going to wrap it up. I want to thank KMLB, of course, and the fine folks in the Ouachita Parish area. Love you guys. Going to take a quick 22-hour break back in Lafayette tomorrow.